So I thought it would be nice for me to do at least one section of this tutorial based on chords and chord structures and the different types of chords that you can play. A lot of electronic musicians don't actually know how to play a keyboard or have had no keyboard lessons. So I think it's a good time for me to be able to show people basic skills and sort of chord structures just to liven their music up. What I'm going to talk about is the numbers that you always hear in chords, or some preset keyboards have them. It's 5th chords, 7th chords, 9th chords. I won't go to 11th and 13th chords because that can get quite complicated for the basic user. And I'll also talk about root key variations, which I think are absolutely essential in making some really nice music. And implication chords. Now these two things are something that I use a lot in my music, so it'd be nice for me to sort of give out some tips on that. There's also things like dominant and diminished chords, which I'm actually not going to go into either today because again it can get quite complicated. So basically start off with the 5th chords, and I'm going to use C as the root note. Now a 5th chord is essentially the 1st key, the 3rd white key and the 5th white key played together. And if I play those three together, you're going to get a C 5th major. And to play a C 5th minor, what you do is you drop the 3rd key a semitone onto the 2nd black key. Now you can hear the difference when I play these next to each other. The 7th chords are essentially the same kind of thing. You start off at C as the root note. You count 7 keys up on the white keys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you play the 1st key, 3rd key, 5th key and 7th key together. So I'm now going to play a C 7th major. And to play the C 7th minor, you now have to drop 2 semitones, which are the 3rd key and the 7th key, and drop those 2 down a semitone. So I'll now play the C 7th minor. Now let me play those two next to each other. You hear the big difference. And to play the 9th key, the 9th chords is basically exactly the same. You take your root note C, and you count 9 keys up. So it's the 1st key, 3rd key, 5th key, 7th key, and 9th key that you play. Now let me play C 9th major, and then C 9th minor. By playing the 9th chord, you actually drop the same 2 semitones, which is the 3rd key and the 7th key, down onto the black keys underneath them. Now, I can really understand that this may already be getting quite complicated, so I'm not going to take in terms of the numbers of keys played up any further. What I'm going to do is just take a step back and talk about root key variations. Root key variations are something that I use a lot. And the best way to do it is just to show you. I'm going to use C as the root note, and I'm going to play a C major chord. Now I'm going to play a bass note key here of C as well, but then I'm going to change it to a different root note, but keeping the C major chord above the same. Now I think that's such a great thing that you can use in your music, because especially when it comes to strings and pads, sometimes playing strings and pads, having the same string and pad, creating a flow all the way through your music and changing the root note instead of the chords can create such a nice atmosphere in your music and make it just really warm. Now, one other thing I'd like to talk to you about is implication chords. And implication chords are basically things that I use, for example, where you use 2 or 3 notes high up in the keyboard and you change the root key to make it fit. So let me just play that for you now as an example. I'm going to use C as an implication chord. So these are really nice things that you can use in your music just to make them sound a little bit more professional and a bit less simple, but made in a very simple way. Sometimes electronic music is overly complicated for no reason, and it doesn't have to be like that. You can make some beautiful sounds with just some simple changes to your music. So give the major and minor chords a try, and the 5th and 7th, 9th chords a try, and that give you a really nice understanding of the basics of chord structuring. Alright, so on to the next lessons.